I'm pleased, though frustrated like my colleagues, but I'm pleased to be here this morning on the floor to talk about the critical need to extend unemployment insurance. Across the nation, there are almost 15 million Americans who are out of work. And although we're making progress on our unemployment rate, it is still too high at 9.5%. We need to extend unemployment insurance, and we need to do it now, today, before one more family is put on the streets and before one more child goes to bed hungry. This legislation is every bit as important to our economy as it is to those who are struggling to get by. Nearly 7 million people, half of all Americans collecting unemployment insurance, have been out of work for 6 months or longer. They've run out of the insurance that's provided by their state. These are the workers who will collect this federal unemployment extension, which they're using, as my colleagues have said. The senator from Ohio in his letters was very eloquent as he reported on the people from Ohio who are talking about why they need this to pay their rent, to make their mortgage payment, to buy the groceries, to put gas in their car, to go out and look for their next job. And as you said so eloquently, Mr. President, sometimes the real people who this legislation affects are forgotten during this debate. And while members of this body stand and give economic lessons and talk about the macro situation, there are honest, hardworking people out there who are suffering because of our failure to act. I recently heard from a woman in Canterbury, New Hampshire, named Jo Ellen. She's a professional psychiatric nurse with a graduate degree, and she had a good job until she was laid off because of cutbacks to our mental health system. She's in her 60s, and she's been working since she was 11 years old. Since being laid off, she's applied for dozens of jobs, from part-time to retail positions. She's cut back on her professional experience on her resume, just so that she's not ruled out for being overqualified. She always mentions that she's willing to accept any salary, but nonetheless, she's not yet been called for an interview, not once. And Jo Ellen wrote to me, not just because her unemployment insurance was going to run out, but because she is so troubled by what she keeps hearing from people who voted against the extension of unemployment benefits, who say that people who are collecting unemployment are irresponsible, or that they're not looking for a job, they're looking for a handout. Well, Jo Ellen's not looking for a handout, she's looking for a job. And while we still face one of the most difficult job markets in history, with 5 applicants for every 1 job, we need to make sure that people like Jo Ellen stay afloat. And there are millions of people across this country who are just like Jo Ellen, who are working hard, who want to find a new job, who are one step away from disaster if they don't get an extension of unemployment benefits. In New Hampshire, 20,000 people could see their unemployment insurance expire within the next 4 months if we don't act. By supporting the legislation today, we can make sure that New Hampshire's unemployed workers receive $75 million in essential federal assistance. And this money, as has been pointed out, won't sit quietly in savings accounts. It's going to go to grocery stores, to pharmacies, to small businesses in the communities where the unemployed are living. And in fact, conservative economist Mark Zandi, who was a former advisor to Senator McCain, has cited unemployment insurance as one of the 3 most effective uses of federal funding. According to his analysis, every dollar we invest today will create $1.61 in economic growth. You know, when I was governor after the September 11th attacks, when this country went into a recession, one of the first things we did in New Hampshire was to increase unemployment benefits, because we knew what Mark Zandi said was correct, that people would put that money back into the economy, help stimulate the economy, help create economic growth. And we did that with bipartisan support from a Republican legislature. I don't know what's changed in the last 9 years since September 11th, that we have our colleagues on the other side of the aisle who, by and large, say we can't support unemployment benefits and extending those benefits, but we can pay for tax cuts for the wealthy without funding those. There's something wrong with that kind of logic. These benefits that hopefully we're going to pass today will help Granite Staters, it will help people all across America to invest in their communities. At a time like this, with our economy poised to turn the corner, this funding is critical to our future. Quite simply, Mr. President, these are investments that we can't afford not to make. So I'm pleased to join my colleagues. I hope we're going to get those 60 votes this afternoon and extend unemployment benefits for millions of Americans. Thank you, and I yield the floor.